That piece had way more back weight than I thought. But yeah, that was not good. For a second there, that was not good. I saw it sitting back too, that's why I didn't continue to cut. Good morning. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video. So we're in the truck. As you can probably tell by now, if you guys have been keeping up, we're headed to a contract site. So got some contract work today. That should be cool. And yeah, before we begin the video, I'd like to ask humbly that you guys like and subscribe, please, because it really helps me out, helps out the channel. I'm really trying to grow it this year, which is, you know, I'm doing my best to try and keep up. It's a lot of work. If you guys haven't managed channels, then you probably don't know, but between having to film the content, you know, and actually do the work and all that stuff, and then come home, edit, and do all that craziness, and then post and try to stay active, it's definitely a challenge. So please, guys, if you could do me the favor, like, subscribe, keep up with the content. You know, I'm uploading weekly, trying to do twice a week if I can, which I've been doing pretty good lately. So again, you know, that's why I'm asking for the help there. And if you want more daily content, you know, on Instagram, you can follow me on there. I post pretty frequently most days. So, you know, I'll be doing stories and whatnot. You can keep up with the daily climbs that most of them, you know, I don't record. But whenever I get into something kind of cool, I'll record. But anyways, without making that too much of a long drawn thing, because I normally don't ask, you know, but again, I'm trying to grow the channel. Let's get into today's topic. We'll get to the work, I promise. But all right, so what should we talk about today, huh? You know what? I'm gonna ask you guys a question, and you guys let me know down in the comments. I've had a couple people ask me, not just on YouTube, but like Instagram and other places and social media and whatnot, like what type of equipment that they should buy, you know, just like early climbers starting out. So I'm wondering if you guys would be interested in kind of like what my opinion would be for an ideal setup. If you're first starting out, you don't need all the fancy gadgets, just like the bare minimum stuff, right? So if that would interest you guys, you know, me making a video on that, please let me know down in the comments, and I'll get to work on that. Currently, I am working on a video for a rope. I recently got a new rope, so stay tuned for that one. It's gonna go paired with a rope runner. So if any of you are rope runner fans like me, you might be interested in that one. So stay tuned. But with that said, we'll catch you guys on the job site, and we'll see you there. No proper intro, but we're up here getting it done. So we got removal. That piece had way more back weight than I thought. And it's crazy. It goes to show you how much a notch can actually do for you, because my original notch was right here pointing that way, but it had too much back weight this way. So I made more of a notch this way and allowed gravity to kind of help me pull the piece out this way, because we're trying to get everything in the ditch. But yeah, that was not good. For a second there, that was not good. I saw it sitting back too, that's why I didn't continue to cut. Thankfully I had enough space here to kind of counteract that. Can you get on the rope, please? You're gonna have to let these run, because this tree's in pretty bad shape. I would stand further back, because if it comes crashing, it might splatter, so you don't want to get hit by that. Good job. Ay, ay, ay. Baby, let's go. Right in the gap. You gotta wait for the back cut.
Yeah, I know. We're just holding right there. We're trying to get out of that.
Just give me a sec, because I'm seeing movement in the wood. And this thing's a little iffy. How's that notch look to you guys? Is it a little too much that way?
I think it'll be fine once it goes.
Okay. You can pre-tension now. All right, there it goes. Can you give me a sec? Oh, crap. Lucky it's oak. That wood held. I started seeing that it sit on this side. I was like, oh man, please.
Yeah. Were you asking for a wedge and then we heard it crack and it was like, oh, no, it's good.
Yeah, I wanted it, but at least that center wood held. You're good. That'll be enough. Right here, right here. Righty, thank you, sir. Made it. We're done. So early day today, which is super cool. You know, it's funny. So you have those wide open drop zones with jobs like this, but these are the ones that tend to make me the most nervous, because these trees out in the woods, oftentimes they haven't been touched in years and nobody notices, right? And they all want to get them removed when they've just been decaying for years and years and years. So it does make me nervous when I see a lot of fungal growth on a tree, you know. Thankfully, this was an oak tree, so oak, they tend to be a little bit sturdier. They fend off decay a little bit better, but that doesn't mean that I don't get nervous, especially if I got to rig big on some stuff. Thankfully, we were able to fell a lot of that into the ditch, but sometimes these are the ones that make me nervous. And then when I'm working in the city, those trees, I'm just like, it's whatever. Which is funny enough, because there I don't have like the wide open drop zones, but yeah, just a little debrief in there of my little insight on the goings on in my mind. But yeah, another successful one. Got out a little bit earlier today, which is super cool. And with all that said, you guys have a good one. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.